Are you curious what Stargate, the movie, and the TV series would look like on a tabletop as a war game? Well, you're in luck because today I'm going to be putting on a war game based on Stargate, the movie and TV series, using my rules Contact Front. So without further ado, let's jump down to the kitchen table and let's have a go at playing this game.
Okay, and here we have the table for today. Apologies for the slightly shaky hand. I'm just gone hands-on for this one. But what we'll do is quickly show the terrain. You can see in the middle just here my new terrain piece that I've made. But let's go and have a look at some of the older pieces. So I've got here my gate with the control dialer here, and then a few Egyptian artifacts or ruins spread around the table. In the middle, we've got this sort of, I don't know, sort of some sort of rock work. Something's alive in there. We don't know quite what. We've also got sort of a village, so you can imagine whoever's inhabiting or who did inhabit this area may have gone a long time ago. Maybe it's to do with what now lives on the planet. We're not sure. But in the middle there, we've got a couple of scientists, and they have been abducted. We'll learn more about those shortly. Right at the back of the village, we've got this slightly strange Earth-looking piece, and again, that will come into play a little bit later on in the game. Now, before we get into the game, and I'm going to be sort of doing this quite as an overview today. I won't be doing sort of every turn, every move. Sorry, every move. I will be doing every turn as a summary, but that's how we'll do it. This is a draft version of my supplement for Contact Front called Gate Travelers, and it is based off of Stargate SG-1, the TV series, and Stargate the movie. I have changed the names of the factions for copyright purposes, and we'll go through that. But essentially, if you've seen Stargate, you'll know you've got the humans and you've got the Jafar, who are the warriors of the Goa'uld. And obviously, I won't be using those names anymore. I'll be renaming them. But yeah, so let's go through the two forces now, and then we'll start off with a quick overview as to what the objectives are for each side. Okay, so here we have the forces of Gate Traveler Command. So that is the organization that's been set up to go through these gates and to explore all the new planets that the gates take the travelers to. Now, for this game, we started off with a base platoon of one team, and you might recognise some of these figures. They're some are Elheim, some are from other. I think the other company is MJ Figures. I have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's who I got some of these or most of these from. Now I rolled 4 support points on a D6, and I've ended up picking up 2 additional teams. Each of them has a leader, and those will go towards my command points. So, you know, in this game, actually, I'm probably going to be activating every squad every time. The only thing I will say is if I split the squads into twos, to 2 pairs, then I will need additional points on the dice to get them activated and moving. So we'll see how that goes. Now, their objective today is going to be to go through the gate onto this planet where they believe the scientists have been taken, that they've been kidnapped, and from there they'll be looking to rescue the scientists and get them back to Earth before any harm can come to them. So with that being said, let's move on to the forces of the Eros. Okay, so here we have the forces of the Eros. Now, the Eros are essentially the creatures, or in Stargate terms, the Goa'uld. They're these serpents that enslave humans and other species. Now, the warriors, or in Stargate terms, the Jafar, they are called the Bellators. So what we've got here in our primary platoon is the Primus and his Secundus. And then we have the first squad of Bellator. Over here, we then rolled 5 support points, and for another 2 points, we've taken this second squad, and then we've also taken this Eros himself. And I'm quite pleased, considering I made this out of green stuff, how this figure has come out. In fact, we'll just scan in there, zoom in there a bit. You can see, I think he looks really quite good. Now there, the other support points which I used, sorry, so I had a 1 point for the Bellator squad, 2 points for, no, sorry, another point for the Eros, and then the other 3 points we used for transportation rings, which is that base, that ground base with the odd looking ring in it, and we'll see that further in the game. But essentially it's a deployment point. Now the objective for the Eros force today is essentially to ensure that the scientists stay kept, not to be rescued, and then the Eros there is going to be brought to the village to decide to take one of the scientists as a host. So obviously, you know, it should be an interesting game, and without further ado, we're going to get into that game now. Okay, so at the end of turn 1, the Gate Travelers Command teams have made their way through the gate. They used an activation to activate the gate from Offworld, and then they used 3 other activation points to bring their teams on. So Team 1 is here, Team 2 is behind the dialing machine, or dialing device, and then the third team is over here. So they've all made it on, and they're now working on making their way over here to the scientists who are being guarded. Now, the squad, the Bellator that were deployed in the village, have basically divided up into 3 teams. There's one just behind this building here. It's a team of 2, sorry. A team of 2 with the scientists, and a team of 2 here with the Primus team here. So the Bellator rolled 1 on the dice with their 1 leadership point, meaning they had 2 activations. The first team here with a staff weapon and a hand weapon, they fired, well, they moved, and then they fired on this team, causing a medium wound, or a T2 wound, for contact front players. They'll understand a T2 wound. So that was that, and then the other team here did 2 rounds of section fire on Team 1, and they failed to pin with both efforts. So we're going to move on to turn 2 and see what happens next. Okay, so end of turn 2, the gate is got another 2 turns left on to that it'll stay open. This team here, Team 1, managed to open fire on the team just around here and killed both of them. So they've seen out a third of the squad that's already in or based in the village, and now they've moved into the fields for a bit of cover to probably do a bit of a flanking maneuver around the back here. This squad over here, who had 1 wounded, they did a bit of firing and managed to wound both of these. And this squad here, this team, made its way through to the other side of that field. Now, in reply, the Bellator got a roll of 2 plus 1 for their leader. The leadership team very quickly, if we just pan around, very quickly moved around this building for cover and went down to protect that leadership point. And then this team here opened fire on this team with section fire and pinned them, and then this team with section fire and failed to pin. And then with the final point, the Bellator activated the transportation rings. So next turn, reinforcements can come in through those rings. So it's getting very lively, very active, very quickly, and we're going to go into turn 3 now to see whether the gate traveling command teams can save the scientists, or whether they'll be the next host for the Eros. So let's get back into it. Okay, so end of turn 3. The Gate Travelers Command Force won the initiative. They had chosen to unpin Team 2, this team over here that were pinned just by this field here. They, once unpinned, put some fire down and saw off one of the pair in this Bellator pairing here, and then moved up into cover behind these ruins. Team 3 managed to move and then finish off the second of the pair from that Bellator pairing. Team 1 over here have moved up behind the building, looking to possibly flank round and get to the scientists to save the day. And if you're familiar with Stargate SG-1, the TV series, these 4 are very much modelled on that team. So hopefully they'll once again save the day. Now the Bellator, the Eros Force, they rolled fairly well. They got 3 on the dice with their leadership point, giving them an additional activation point. The team here, or the pair of Bellator warriors here that were guarding the scientists, they've moved up into a bit of cover and used their individual stun weapons to try and take on this team here. However, fairly unsuccessful. The main headline really was the use of 2 activation points to bring another Bellator squad into play, deploying them from the transportation rings, and they are guarding the serpent-like Eros that is preparing to take a host, as in one of the scientists. So it is getting pretty tense. We're doing well. We're going to move on to turn 4 now. So I'll get on with that, and I'll come back at the end of turn 4 with an update. Okay, so end of turn 4. The Gate Travelers Command Force won the initiative and didn't roll particularly well, to be honest. They had just enough to do what they needed to. The Team 3 over here moved up and took a shot on this pair. They killed one. This team then moved up, Team 2, and then finished off the other guy. So that was the whole of that squad of Bellator finished off. And then Team 1 have moved round to secure the scientists. So as the sun rises on this planet, the Bellator reinforcements have begun to move in. So we've now got a pair over here who did fire on Team 1, caused a slight wound, and then we've got another pair here that have moved up, and another pair here guarding the Eros. So the support or the reinforcements have arrived just at the right time for the Bellator and for the Eros, and unfortunately probably not soon enough, because Team 1 are preparing to move the scientists back towards the gate. The only problem is the gate has now closed, so they'll need to get a team back to open up the gate. As we can move over and see the gate is closed, they'll need to get over to the gate, dial in, open up the gate, and then get everybody back through before the Bellator reinforcements are able to do anything possibly to capture them. So on to turn 5. Let's see what happens next. All right, so end of turn 5, and for the first time in the game, the Eros forces gained the initiative first. So they moved in, quite a few units moved in. and took some shots at Team 1, who were here with the scientists. A couple of point-blank shots from one team that's moved off the table now, and the command team that's here. They did lose one of their own, chap by the name of Teal'c. If anybody's familiar with that, they might get a little giggle. Sad, obviously, for anybody who enjoys Stargate SG-1, but yeah, he unfortunately didn't make it. However, after those shots, there was quite a few misses. So it moved then on to the Gate Travelers Command Force, and didn't roll brilliantly, but they did roll enough. And the first thing was that Team 1 sprinted to this point here, out of the village, behind this whatever we're calling this sort of alive, living rock creature thing, and they took obviously the scientists with them. Team 2 made a very quick dash to the dialing device, and then Team 3 made a tactical retreat to behind this cover, and then opened up on the command team. Now they killed the command team with their round of individual fire, and that was enough to then warrant a confidence test, or what we call a casualty reaction test. Essentially, what it means is that other units around that have seen their comrades fall, it's to see how they react to that. And so one team, as you can see right over here on the edge of the table, they didn't like it and ran. Another team, a pairing. These guys were around here opening fire. They took cover. These guys were all right, and he was all right as well. So it's massively benefited the Gate Traveling Command Force. It's allowed them the opportunity to get a bit of breathing space, certainly get towards the gate, and depending on who gets the initiative on this next turn, turn 6, we could see a very quick end to the game. So I'm going to get on with that, and I'll come back and give you an update at the end of turn 6. Okay, so end of turn 6, and the Gate Travelers Command Force got the initiative, which was key. Team 2, seen just covering the gate here, they dialed in and got the address correct first time, and then have taken up a defensive position around the gate to ensure that their fellow teams will get out. And we've then seen the scientists move through the gate, as well as Team 1. And Team 3 are very, very close behind, and will hopefully make it out on turn 7. In terms of the Eros Force, they didn't roll very well. They only got 2, and essentially they had 2 pairings just move up. They ran, essentially trying to catch the Gate Travelers and their various teams. I don't think they're going to catch them. If they get the initiative, they might be able to put a couple of shots down first, but I suspect they're not going to get this. Well, they're definitely not getting the scientists back now. As soon as the last team's through, you can guarantee that Gate Traveling Command will lock down the gate and ensure that the Bellator warriors can't chase them. So I'm just very quickly going to finish off with turn 7, make sure that we get a solid conclusion to this game, and then we'll head back up to the hobby room we'll do a final update after turn 7, just to see where we're at, and then we'll head back up after that update to the hobby room just for a little bit of final thoughts. So here we go, turn 7. Okay, so end of turn 7. That was extremely quick. We're talking maybe a minute tops. Initiative was rolled. The Gate Traveling Command Force won it. They had enough command points, regardless of what was rolled on the dice, to get both teams through the gate, and that's what they did. So in terms of the sort of final score, I guess we could say, The Gate Travellers have lost just one of their personnel, KIA. They've got one that is wounded. In fact, actually, I think they had two that were wounded, so there'll be two needing to head straight to sick bay, but should survive their injuries. The scientists, although obviously they've had a very traumatic experience, and who knows whether they'll be going off-world again to explore other planets, they have made it back safely this time and are being checked over by the doctor in sick bay. In terms of the Eros forces and the Bellator, they have very much not had a good day at the office. The Eros Serpent, for want of a better phrase, over here is disappointed that he's not got a host, and certainly will be sending his forces out to find new hosts for him in the future. The one squad that has survived is still fairly, it's completely intact. There's no casualties found, but obviously the first squad there has died, and the Primus and his second in command have both been killed as well, and possibly for the best, because I suspect the Eros would not have been best pleased with them losing the scientists. So had they not been killed by the enemy, they might have found themselves either cleaning dishes or maybe a fate worse than death. But a really, really enjoyable game. I had a lot of fun playing this one. It's nice to get these figures out on the table. I think the new gaming mat, first time using this one, it looks really nice and certainly works well for the sci-fi setting. And I think my terrain also fits in with it pretty well as well. So we'll head back up to the hobby room for a quick final thoughts and overview, and then we'll call this video good. So let's head back upstairs. So there we have it, my game of Contact Front Gate Travellers, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching this video. It's a slight different format to what I've done before with games, but with time not being on my side, plus also wanting to try something different to see if you'd enjoy it, I thought we'd just go for a more overview style of battle report. And if you have enjoyed it, do please pop a comment below. Let me know what you thought about it. If you didn't enjoy it, also pop a comment below. It really does help me to understand, how what format is best for these battle reports and what you guys enjoy watching. Now, if you're like me and you have a collection of miniatures in multiple different scales and you're always struggling with terrain, about having terrain which fits the different scales, then check out my video next Sunday when I'll be looking at some terrain that I've picked up a few years ago actually, but been working on recently, which will fit multiple scales and hopefully solve some of those problems about having too much terrain or not enough terrain of the right scale. And until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.